Hello, my dear students, and welcome back. I know, exams are just around the corner and the tension is building up. But please, don't you worry. Today, we're going to make history fun and super easy. We'll cover this entire chapter on the rise of empires, and trust me, by the end, you'll be feeling confident and all set. So just take a deep breath and let's begin our adventure. Okay, let's dive right in. Just imagine we've all hopped into a time machine called Itihasa. You know, that means history, right? And boom! We've just landed in ancient Pataliputra, which is basically the area around modern-day Patna. Come on, try saying that name with me, Pataliputra. Forget those boring textbook pages. We're going to actually walk through history together. This journey is going to cover all the important points you need for your exam.
So our first stop on this journey is to understand a very basic but very important question. What exactly makes an empire different from just a big kingdom? It's a really key concept, so let's get this crystal clear.
Yeah, think about it for a second. We hear the word empire all the time. You know, the Roman Empire, the Mauryan Empire. So what's the common factor? It's kind of like asking what makes a huge online store different from a single big shop in your city. What's that secret ingredient that makes it an empire?
Well, here's the simple answer. An empire isn't just one big piece of land. No, it's actually a collection of many smaller kingdoms, all brought under the control of one super powerful ruler, the emperor. And he, or sometimes she, rules this whole vast territory from a central capital city, just like Pataliputra was. Now, what about the kings of those smaller kingdoms? What happens to them? Well, they are called tributaries. It's a simple idea. They accept that the emperor is the boss. And to show their loyalty, they pay a tribute. This could be money, gold, grain, or even elephants for the army. It's like paying respect to the main ruler. Makes sense, right? So, you see, being an emperor is a really big job. Here's their to-do list, which is a great way for you to remember the features of an empire for your exam. First, you need a massive army, not just for conquering, but also to protect your borders. Then you need officials to manage everything and collect taxes. That's absolutely crucial for running things. And of course, you need your own laws and coins to show everyone who's in charge. Easy to remember, isn't it? Okay, let's move our time machine to our next location. We're zooming in on one particular region that became the starting point for India's first great empire. We're talking about the Mahajanapada of Magadha. This is where the whole story of Indian empires truly begins. So, what was Magadha's secret recipe for success? This slide gives us all the clues. It had two main ingredients. First, you see the super fertile land in the Ganga Plains, which meant lots and lots of food. And second, access to iron. Iron meant stronger plows for farming and, of course, deadlier weapons for the army. Food and power, the perfect combo to build an empire. You see, the crucial point is Magadha had everything going for it. It was a jackpot of a location. Rich land, forests full of timber and war elephants, nearby iron mines, and rivers that were like natural highways for trade. Plus, they had strong and ambitious kings like Ajatashatru, who knew exactly how to use all these advantages. Building on this strong foundation came the Nanda Dynasty. Their leader, Mahapadma Nanda, was a real empire builder. He took everything that Magadha had and just expanded it, creating a truly massive and wealthy kingdom. But, as we're about to see, sometimes power can make you a little unpopular. And now, let's add some drama to the story. While the Nandas were ruling in the east, a storm was brewing in the west. A new, powerful player entered the game, and his name was Alexander. And let me tell you, his arrival would change the course of history. Just look at this map. Alexander, a young king from Macedonia and Greece, had already conquered the massive Persian Empire. His empire stretched all the way from Greece to Egypt and beyond. It was huge. He dreamt of conquering the entire known world, and his next target was India. Now, Alexander faced some fierce resistance in India. One of the most famous stories is his battle with King Porus of the Pauravas. Even after being defeated, Porus showed incredible courage. When Alexander asked him how he wished to be treated, he gave this legendary reply. He demanded to be treated with the respect of a king. What a legend, right? But here's the twist in the tale. After years and years of fighting, Alexander's soldiers were just exhausted. They had heard stories of the Nanda Empire's massive army further east, and they simply refused to march on. They were homesick,
They were tired, so the great conqueror was forced to turn back, leaving a huge power vacuum in the northwest, a vacuum that someone was about to fill. This is a perfect example of how one empire's retreat can open the door for another's rise. So with Alexander gone and the Nanda king becoming more and more unpopular, the stage was set for a new power to take over. And now, enter the heroes of our story, the mighty Mauryas. You just can't talk about the Mauryan Empire without talking about this legendary duo. On one side, you have the young and ambitious Chandragupta Maurya, and on the other, his mentor, the brilliant strategist Kautilya, who you might also know as Chanakya. Think of him as the original political guru. Together, they were an absolutely unstoppable team. And just look at the result of their teamwork. This map comparison tells the entire story. On the left is the Nanda Empire. Big, yes. But now look at the right. That's the Mauryan Empire under Chandragupta. The expansion is just incredible. They didn't just conquer the Nanda territories, they pushed west, north, and south, creating one of the largest empires in Indian history. Okay, my dear students, our journey is almost at an end. Now it's time for the most important part, a quick revision for your exams. Let's lock in these key facts so you can write your answers with full confidence. Are you ready? Let's go. First question, and it's a very common one. Why did Magadha become so powerful? Just think back to our secret recipe. What were those main ingredients? Here's your perfect 5-point answer. Fertile land for food, forests for wood and elephants, iron ore for strong weapons, rivers for trade, and strong kings to lead the way. If you write this, you're sure to get full marks. Next question, all about our favorite mastermind. Who was Chanakya and what did he do? This is a super important question about the founding of the Mauryan Empire, so pay attention. And here is your answer, simple and clear. He was a brilliant teacher and strategist from Takshashila. He was the guide and mentor to Chandragupta. Together, they defeated the unpopular Nanda king. And Chanakya's political wisdom, which he wrote down in his book, The Arthashastra, was basically the blueprint for running the entire empire. And for our final slide, let's think a little deeper. We've seen kingdoms rise and fall. We've seen ambition, strategy, and power. So what's the one big takeaway from all of this? It's that empires aren't just won on the battlefield. They're built on a solid foundation of resources, smart leadership, and a strong economy. The story of Magadha and the Mauryas shows us that true power comes from combining strength with strategy. Great job today, everyone. Keep revising and you will do wonderfully. All the very best for your exams.